commissioning of Jeremiah to become a prophet happens in the very beginning of the book. The words of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah, of the priests who were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of King Josiah, son of Ammon of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It came also in the days of King Jehoiakim, son of Josiah of Judah, and until the end of the 11th year of King Zedekiah, son of Josiah of Judah, until the captivity of Jerusalem in the 5th month. Now the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, and before you were born I consecrated you, I appointed you a prophet to the nations. But Jeremiah protests, I do not know how to speak, for I am only a boy. But the Lord said to me, Do not say, I am only a boy, for you shall go to all whom I send you, and you shall speak whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you to deliver you, says the Lord. And then the Lord touches his mouth and puts words in his mouth for him to speak. Now Jeremiah is unique among the prophets in that a real sense of the person comes through. We have a lot of autobiographical material, a lot of narrative that tells us about him. We have his own words and complaints that he speaks to the Lord. He comes from the priestly line of Abiathar, who was banished by Solomon and replaced by Zadok. So he would have been a priest in earlier times, but it is the Zadokite line that is prominent in Jerusalem. Like Moses, Jeremiah expresses reluctance to being a prophet, and like Moses, feels that he's not qualified. As Yahweh provided Aaron to Moses as a mouthpiece, here Yahweh places the right words on Jeremiah's lips. Jeremiah is instructed to destroy and to build. This means that he is to speak both judgment and renewal. Yahweh shows Jeremiah various signs. For example, an almond tree, a shakhed. I am watching, shokhed, another play on words, over my word. And second, he shows a boiling cauldron tipping toward the south. Out of the north, trouble is brewing. Jeremiah prophesies against both idolatry and injustice. So they have forsaken the Lord, and they have dug out cisterns for themselves. In other words, they have gone after other gods, but these gods will not hold water for them, will not give them life-giving water. But also, their houses are full of treachery. They have become rich and fat and sleek, and they do not judge with justice. They do not uphold the cause of the orphan, and they do not defend the rights of the needy. Throughout the prophetic books, we see these as the two major themes, idolatry and injustice, and they're about half and half. Both of those are spoken against in great detail. One of the sermons that Jeremiah delivers is in the temple and is given at the beginning of Jehoiakim's reign. And what Jeremiah is trying to tell the people is that just because they have the temple and they are doing worship properly, this is not a substitute for righteous behavior. There is almost a superstitious trust in the temple that it will give them automatic security. And Jeremiah points back to Shiloh as a precedent. We saw that when we were discussing Samuel. Because the people did not follow Yahweh's commands, Shiloh was destroyed. The only security of the people is in faith in Yahweh and in moral living. And in 7:9, you can look at a reference to the Decalogue from Exodus and Deuteronomy. Later on in Jeremiah 26, the reaction from the priests and prophets is to ask the king to execute him. Note here that Jeremiah is instructed to go to the gate of the Lord's house, the temple. Amend your ways and your doings, and let me dwell with you in this place. Do not trust in these deceptive words. This is the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord. If you do not oppress the alien, the orphan, and the widow, or shed innocent blood in this place, and if you do not go after other gods to your own hurt, then I will dwell with you. Those are the conditions. And he accuses the people of stealing, committing murder, adultery, swearing falsely, going after other gods, and then coming and standing before God in the temple and saying, we are safe, but they keep doing their evil things. Note in verse 11, this phrase should be very familiar to you from something that Jesus says when he overturns the tables in the temple. And the threat or the warning is that what God did to Shiloh, he will do to them. He will destroy the temple. The types of texts that are in Jeremiah are autobiography, mainly 1 through 25 and in 46:51. Biography, where somebody else is telling the story. There are prose sermons. We saw in Isaiah that most of the prophecies were in poetry, but there's quite a bit of prose sermons. And as we will look in another lecture, there are a number of complaints by Jeremiah. Now, we will see that a lot of what is written down of Jeremiah's prophecy is written down by Baruch, but we don't know how much. In chapters 1 through 25, the typical introduction is the word of Yahweh came to me, while in 26 to the end it is often the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah. So is Jeremiah doing some of the writing down and some of it by Baruch? It is not clear.